Words do not describe what we watched last night. It was just a pathetic effort from the Eagles offense, from the Eagles defense, from the Eagles players, from the Eagles coaches, from the sideline people, everybody. It was just a pathetic effort. We're going to talk about it. We're going to overreact to it today. That's what we do today. Taking your thoughts and opinions here on Trending in the AM. We're live with them in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube. You know the drill. Hit the like, share, subscribe button. You know what to do to help grow the algorithm. I need to find every single Eagles fan this morning and get them in the comment section because each and every one of Eagles fans, Eagles Nation, needs this morning to vent, to complain, to bitch, to moan, to get it out of their system. Because now that's 2 weeks in a row that we just played some gutless, cowardly football in Philadelphia. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, always leading the charge here every single morning, no matter what. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. A little dust and snow this morning, not much, but a little bit here in southern Chester County. Let's fire through. Obviously, Mad Chatter's got 400 comments in already. Great to have you back. Dave on Philly tanked the game. Boo, our season's over. Yeah, I mean, look, it's Monday. There's going to be some overreactions for sure. There's going to be some bad feelings for sure right from the get-go. And as Ewing says right here, despite it all, we're not out of it. And how about them Cowboys comment? We're not even going to put that up on the screen. Maybe find a better name for yourself there than that. Yeah, we're not out of it at all. Sean Desai needs to go. Mister, coming in hot with that first comment there. Sean Desai needs to go. Look, the Eagles, they got smoked last night. There's obviously – why do I got the 49ers Eagles box score up on my screen? Why don't I have the Cowboys one up onto my screen right now? 33-13 last night. Eagles got just smoked. They just didn't play well. They didn't show up. They didn't even travel to Dallas for the game. You kept all our asses up awake late last night. Me, I actually was in bed. I turned the TV off at the 2-minute warning last night. That is how frustrated I was. 2-minute warning. I was looking at the snap counts this morning. I didn't even know Marcus Mariota played last night because I turned it off before that last drive. But Sean Desai, as Mr. says, it's a big issue. Our defense. And you know what? I've been critical for a few weeks now of our Eagles defense and Sean Desai. And people will say, well, Sean, I was critical of them last night. And you know what? All I got from people across social media was excuses on Sean Desai that he's got injured players. They didn't give him enough talent, this or that. So then I tried to criticize Howie Roseman. I'm like, it's not Howie Roseman's fault. Everyone wants to point to the Eagles offense. And as Davon's jumping in here with the fumbles, the turnovers, etc., it was a bad performance, lack of execution. And everyone's going to blame the offense. Everyone's going to blame the referees. The referees were atrocious last night. There's no doubt about it. But the referees don't fumble the ball. The referees don't drop wide open balls that are dropped right into a bucket into your hands. The referees don't miss tackles, miss coverage schemes. The referees may have played a factor in some of the frustration last night. But it was only one person or one thing to blame, and that's the team itself. Devontae Smith dropping dimes. A.J. Brown dropping dimes. Yeah, there's excuses. I'm still not putting your screen name up on there right now. But, yeah, I'm not making excuses. I think we know exactly what it is. We talked to Fam Forever. We talked about this last week, and let me pull up the box score and see where it was. They were 23 of their last 33 teams were against the Eagles defense. They can't get off the field on third down. Let me see. Last night, the Cowboys on where is it on the box sheet here? The Cowboys were 9 of 16, still better than 50%. It was a little bit better considering how bad the Eagles have been, but still not good enough. They're over 50% on third down. The Eagles were 4 and 9. Not good. That third down stuff, man. That's going to be the death of our defense, without a doubt. Not getting off the field. They're gassed, the defense. They've been gassed for 2 weeks now. But not being able to get off the field doesn't help that. Dig deep once one play here or there, get off the field. And that's on Sean Desai. Everybody wants him to blitz. Blitz more. He blitzes, and Ferguson gets a 33-yard catch over the middle because you got such a big gap in the middle of your defense. So much went wrong last night. Everything went wrong last night. And I'm going to blame this person. You're going to blame that person. We're all going to blame this scheme, that scheme. This needs to be changed. That needs to be changed. Look, it's a whole team effort. Last night, the last 2 weeks, a complete and total team effort. Referees, the last refuge for cope. You know me. I don't blame the referees. Now, I will bring up some blatant mistakes that the referees made. You know, clear this first Ceedee Lamb hold. Let's talk about the first Ceedee Lamb touchdown. Clearly, Jordan Davis was held. The referee threw a holding flag on it. And then after the play, after the Cowboys scored, they're like, nah, it wasn't a holding. We're gonna pick that flag up. What the hell? Did somebody say, yo, I got some money on this game, pick that up? Pretty pathetic. It's definitely the defensive coordinator's fault. Just look at how the Seahawks lost to the Niners the same way Philly did last week. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a whole lot of the 49ers Seahawks game, so I'm not positive on that, Ewing. But look, I am very critical of the Sean Desai, and I've been saying it for weeks. I said it last week. We did a whole segment on a show about how Sean Desai deserves more criticism than Brian Johnson. Everyone's saying Brian Johnson's doing a terrible job. Excuse me. My sinuses are all over the place. I can't breathe this morning. Not staying up late drinking too much whiskey last night. It's gonna be a rough day. But I've been saying it. I spent a whole segment talking about it, and very few people agreed with me. But I think now after last night, I think people do. Brian Johnson's a problem. He's got issues, but Brian Johnson's not fumbling the ball. He's calling good plays. Jalen Hurts dropped how many dimes into wide receivers' hands last night that just fell to the ground. That's not Brian Johnson's fault. I mean, on the flip side, it's not Sean Desai's fault when missed tackles happen, but it is Sean Desai's fault when the scheme itself is leaving far too many people wide open. It's a frustrating morning for Eagles fans. AJ fumbles in 4K, wrecked in prime time. Yeah, it's a good title for a movie. I had the Eagles splitting wins this year. It sucks we lost, but the Cowboys are still a good team. I hope we see Peanut. It's very fair. And look, I had the Eagles 10-3 at this point. We looked at this a few weeks ago. I had the Eagles losing to the Jets, the Bills, and the Cowboys this past weekend. They were my 3 losses. I think I'm pretty damn close. We almost lost to the Bills, and we beat the 49 or the flip-flop the Bills 49ers, and I called this straight right. Now they can go and win the last 4. The Eagles still could be the number 1 seed. The Eagles still can win their division. The season's not over. But it's very hard for Eagles Nation to be positive even a little bit this morning. This morning we're gonna clear our chest. We're gonna get rid of all the hate, and then tomorrow we'll be more positive about it. But right now, it's very hard to be positive. Sorry to get off topic. No, you get off topic whenever you want. Your opinions matter on this show. We talk everything here. Let's compliment Phil on rarely going to rest for Cope. I never. Look, the refs were terrible last night. Terrible. Against the Cowboys, too, a few times. I mean, how many times are we going to call Landon Dickerson offsides on a tush push because of Jason Kelsey's hand? I mean, at this point, I think the refs know, but they still do it. The refs are biased in Philly. That's the way it is. I mean, some people will say, well, that referee, the Eagles were 7-0 going into last night when he was the head ref. Whatever. I don't get into the win-loss records with referees too much. But man, that holding flag to start the game that was picked up when Jordan Davis was held, Ceedee Lamb scored a touchdown. That set the tone for the whole game. The PI on Darius Slay on that first drive or second drive, I think it was a third down, actually, extended a drive. It was ticky-tack. It might have been a borderline pass interference for sure, but it set the tone. The refs, not the players, set the tone for the game last night. And that's frustrating. Eagles' luck has run out. ESPN headline. Probably. I wouldn't be shocked. Fan Forever saying Brian Johnson's game plan on the first half has been pretty bad all year. Has it? Has it been as bad as we think? Or have the turnovers been a problem? Have the drops been the problem? Have the offensive line not being as great all the time been a problem? The game plan could be better. Look, DeAndre Swift ran the ball 2 or 3 times on the first drive, and we didn't see him again till the fourth quarter. That's not good. You realize that last night, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift, or Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith saw all but one target. Lamade Zaccheaus got one target. No running back targets. No Quez Watkins targets. No, only 4 targets to Dallas Goedert. No running backs. Nobody. You literally had 27 passes. 26 of them went. Actually, the Zaccheaus was on the fake punt. So all 27 passes of Jalen Hurts went to a combined 3 people, completed or incomplete. That would be my biggest concern with last night's game plan. It's really predictable to defensive and offense when you know there's only 3 people going to have a chance of touching the ball. I agree about the fumbles and the drops. I mean, if I'm blaming anybody for last night's loss, I'm going to blame the execution, because that's what we talked about a few weeks ago. That we might not win pretty, but we execute when it matters most. Well, those wide receivers last night, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, that loss is on them, in my opinion. They are my number one key to the loss last night, those drops. But that's something that's not going to happen regularly. You got to have faith or think that the Eagles wide receivers will clean that up. You'd hope, at least. At least you would hope. What's up, John? How you doing this morning, my man? Blame can go all over the place, but it was a total team disgrace. And I think that's a very, very fair way to look at it. It was a complete and total team disgrace. Everybody is to blame. Nobody is safe today. Nobody. At all. And also, I almost think that Nick Sirianni's to blame. And not for instituting the game plan or this or that. It's for the culture that we love. Maybe has gotten out of hand. First you had Kenny Gainwell at halftime on his phones. Now last night, Darius Slay's out there retweeting stuff literally 3 seconds after the game ends. Who's running this ship? Who's holding these players accountable? Doesn't seem like anybody is. It's all your fault at Man Chatter. Ever since we beat the Buffalo Bills, the script changed. Yeah, and the NFL hates us. I love it. Good morning, Jonathan. How you doing? Luck does appear to be the case when the Eagles defeated Buffalo and KC. One thing for sure, Nick has to change to a different offensive concept or something, and it's not the coordinators. Well, it's too late in the season to change concept completely. And it wasn't luck, because it wasn't just Buffalo and KC. We beat Dallas earlier this year. We beat the Dolphins this year. We beat a game Rams team. We beat a lot of decent teams and some really good teams. I don't know if you want to change concepts, so to say, but we got to execute better. To me, that's what it comes down to. Execution. The last 2 weeks, the Eagles did not execute outside of Jake Elliott and a fake punt. Outside of that, we didn't execute at all. The Eagles this Eagles high potent offense did not score 1 touchdown last night. Let that sink in for a second. You've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, one of the best supposed offensive line in football. You got to play near unstoppable in the tush push, unless the refs call a phantom offsides. And you couldn't score 1 freaking touchdown. I know I want to blame Sean Desai and all, but that's That's not good. I'm trying to deflect some of the Brian Johnson hate lately, but you know what? That's not good. Everybody, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, Brian Johnson, everybody's to blame. This offense, it's virtually impossible unless you're the Minnesota Vikings versus the Raiders to not score an offensive touchdown in the NFL. It's an offensive geared league. How you don't score a touchdown in a game? I wonder, statistician, if you're watching, you want to do some research for me. I wonder if a Super Bowl team has ever gone a game in the regular season leading up to a Super Bowl without scoring a touchdown. It's hard to imagine if you're good enough to make the Super Bowl, you can go into a game and not score one single touchdown. Pretty frustrating. Smith catching balls in arms could help. Well, just catching the ball would help. Yeah, didn't like the refs calls at all. Definitely set the tone. It's never good when the refs set the tone of the game. They're not to blame for drops, for fumbles, for penalties. Well, for the penalties, they're not for the drops, fumbles, miscommunication, missed tackles. They can't be blamed for all that. But they set the tone in the game and put us up against the wall right from the get go. Dallas Goddard be like what? Jason Kelsey with his bad snaps and false starts. Is he more interested in his podcast? Oh, stop. Let's not criticize Jason Kelsey totally like that. You know, there's very few people that care more than Jason Kelsey, Mister. Let's be honest. If you see a Chiefs fan, stop with the Chiefs. I know you're in the pre-show comments talking about the Chiefs a lot. Not worried about the Chiefs right now, okay? Not worried about it. I'm worried about our Eagles right now. The shotgun 5 receiver sets with a single back is counterproductive. It's not Desai, it's the Eagles' philosophy. Look, there's a lot of philosophical issues with a lot of what this team does. But at this point, 14 weeks into the season, playoffs 4 weeks away, there's not much you can change about it. There's not even much you could do about the personnel. You are who you are. You are where you are. But we're 10-3. We're overreacting. We're pissed off this morning. But it's not the end of the world. I predicted these losses, but not blowouts. Yeah, I don't know. What's worse, losing in blowout fashion or losing a close, hard-fought game? Losing in blowout fashion last week was fine, but losing in blowout fashion 2 weeks in a row, that's definitely a problem, Ewing, without a doubt. Why so many quarterback runs when you have running backs? Yeah, they definitely call the quarterback draw far too often, in my opinion, especially when you got a banged up Jalen Hurts, especially when you've got a running back as dynamic as DeAndre Swift. Excuse me again. Sorry, late nights, man. They just do wonders on and all the drinking. It does wonders on my sinuses, man. I need a good night's sleep or I can't breathe in the morning at all. Seth Joyner said that he noticed Schwartz and Gannon are not doing the same schemes they did in Philly. Someone brought this up, or someone hinted at this last week about Gannon and what they do in Arizona. Now, Arizona's terrible, but point taken. Look, Jim Schwartz is greater than Gannon, who's greater than Sean Desai. Honestly, we hated Jonathan Gannon, but he led us to a Super Bowl and he had a top 10 defense last year. This defense isn't even in the top 20. I don't even know if it's in the top 25 anymore after last night. It is literally one of the worst defenses in the league. I wonder if a team has ever made the Super Bowl with a bottom 5 defense. Probably not. But Seth Joyner was right on one thing, the tackling. Especially the cornerback. Now, Darius Slay had a solid game. I'm not going to crush Darius Slay. And on a side note, the people going after Darius Slay's wife on social media. She is very active and open and follows and interacts with a lot of Eagles fans. And some of the things I saw that were sent to her, embarrassing, guys. And all from fake burner accounts. Something you wouldn't say and show your face to. But Seth Joyner talked about the lack of tackling or desire to. Let me tell you something. James Bradbury, in the first half, I counted 3 or 4 instances where he was jogging towards the ball, not running, or running away from the ball carrier. Didn't want anything to do with tackling. James Bradbury is a much bigger issue than Darius Slay. And both these guys are on this team next year. It's a big problem. I noticed that too. So who's really in control of the schemes? It's a problem. It's all AJ and Smitty, and that's on Nick. Yeah, so there's two things here. I don't know exactly what you're commenting on here, but it's all AJ Brown and Smitty. You stop them, you stop the whole offense. But also, the offense works a lot better when AJ Brown and Devontae Smith don't fumble the ball. When AJ Brown and Devontae Smith don't drop perfectly placed balls right into your hands for big gains. AJ Brown is going to go down for that one big drop, but there were a couple other plays where I think he could have put a little bit more effort into trying to make a catch. Y'all know I've criticized AJ Brown's concentration on every single snap. Not that he takes a snap off, but he loses focus sometimes. Last night's loss, while while Sean Desai was not good and the defense was atrocious, last night AJ Brown and Devontae Smith could have changed the outcome of that game drastically between their drops and their fumbles. Drastically could have changed so much if they just cleaned their acts up just a little bit. Devontae Smith wants a big payday this offseason. Can't have games like last night. A.J. Brown wants to be considered one of the 3 or 4 best wide receivers in football. Can't have games like that. Last night's game, to an extent, devalues the 6 or 7 straight 125-yard games when you have games like last night. It was pathetic. It's Laurie and Howie. I tried to criticize Howie Roseman a little bit last night. I tried. And you know what? I got crushed for it. Saying it's not his fault that the players he picked are not working. Since when did Howie Roseman become this untouchable, criticizable person? We used to call for him to be fired nonstop. You know, fire Howie used to be a trending thing regularly, even as far back or recently as 1920. But now I criticize him because he missed on so many options at safety, cornerback, and linebacker that our middle of our defense is bigger than the black hole. It's bigger than the Milky Way. It's bigger than the multiverse, the middle of our defense. Literally, you could drive a Mack truck through the middle of our defense and not hit a player. That's on Howie. If the refs are against you, why fight all night for a game that you can't win? Might as well let the Cowboys go off and say, if that's, mister, I get what you're saying there. I get it. But if that is your mentality, if that, not you personally, if that's a player's mentality, then I don't want that player on my team. That's a loser's mentality right there, if that's the truth. I'm convinced now that this team lost the season in the locker room. So they lost. How did they lose it in the locker room? Because nobody's stepping up as a leader, Matt. I'm curious on what's your reason. Because I did tweet out last night, Matt, that where's the fire, the fight? Where's the flipping the tables, slamming of the helmets? Where's the passion? You see the Chiefs-Bills game and the way it ended. Patrick Mahomes slamming helmets, knocking things over. He's pissed. He's fired up. Who's the guy on this Eagles team that does that? Who's the guy on the Eagles team that looks at everybody else and says, yo, you suck. Do better. Get your head in the game. This team is far too relaxed at this point. I was shocked to see my number 1 wide receiver play like a bum. Yeah. What's up, Zach? Good morning. Brown and Smitty were off big time. Right after the game, Slay liking posts from news Twitter pages about a bad PI call. Defense completely collapsing. Dude, the priorities of this team are way off. And that I'll criticize Nick Sirianni for. Look, literally, this morning, this is Overreaction Monday. Every single person is open to criticism on this Eagles, from Jeffrey Lurie right down to the lowest level ball boy or intern on this team. Everybody is open for criticism. There's nobody that I could say, you did your job and didn't lose because of it. Nobody. Bill, there's no double back formations, no wheel routes. I did see somebody else talking about the wheel routes. no 3 tight end sets, etc. It's shotgun with a handoff on first down to Swift simply for a quick hitter. Well, they don't even do that very often. They don't. There's no creativity. Everybody saw it. They put up the stat. In the league, it's what I forget what the number was exactly, but it was like 55% of the snaps around the NFL. That's the average with pre-snap motions. And the NFL, it's 55% average. The Eagles are last place at like 31%. There's no creativity to the offensive game plan. No creativity at all. Zero. That's on Brian Johnson. That's on Nick Sirianni. But also the creativity, the game plan would be looked at differently if if AJ Brown, Devontae Smith weren't dropping passes. That makes a big deal. Angel Castro, what's up? It's the damn plays, man. We need to fire offensive coordinator and defense coordinator. Now, well, you may think that, Angel, and I definitely have been extremely critical of Sean Desai. I've kind of come around on Brian Johnson a little bit, but at this point, week 14 of the NFL season, you're not. If you plan on making the Super Bowl, you're not firing either of them. Now, does somebody else have to take over play calling for offense and defense? Maybe. Does somebody need to step in and help Sean Desai figure some things out midweek so we're not in a hole? Probably. But at this point, we're not making that kind of a drastic change at this point. This is only the third loss. Everyone take a breath. Yeah, it is. It is. And you know what? Tomorrow, we will take a breath. Actually, I'm going to write that down. And that might be, instead of using the word relax, I might say take a breath. Okay? Tomorrow. But today, we just got blown out 2 weeks in a row. Smoked 2 weeks in a row. Destroyed 2 weeks in a row by teams we have to face in the playoffs. Now the 49ers and the Cowboys know they can beat us. No fear in them now. Jalen Hurts doesn't seem to audible when he is faced with blitz looks. That is very true. Nick may not be as seasoned as a head coach. He's showing lack of experience. Well, I think the experience thing on Nick Sirianni is not a good excuse anymore because he's in his third year now. It's not his first year. It's not his second year. We're almost to the end of year 3, Jonathan. So Nick Sirianni is as seasoned as he can be at this point. But Jalen Hurts doesn't. They don't pick up the blitz. The blitzes always get close or home. I don't blame. I know everybody wanted to blame Jalen Hurts for throwing short of the sticks on 3rd and 4th down. But really, he had no choice because all the routes were run short of the first down marker, and he had pressure in his face. Nothing he could do about it. He had to get rid of the ball or take a sack. He threw it to one guy. But they were all before the line of scrimmage, so what's he supposed to do? All right, more detail on Matt Mack. No leadership, no communication. That's exactly what I thought you meant, but wanted to make sure. You can watch it through the games. No one listens to audibles, no accountability. And let's look at Hurts. His mentality of trying to be stoned and keeping the main thing is just stupid. Him and his non-emotional self is killing him. He may set an example. I'll be a leader, but yeah. Look, I brought this up last night on social media too. In talking about the whole flipping tables, someone show emotion. The fact that Jalen Hurts doesn't show emotion, we love it. Everyone talks about it. But maybe it's time for Jalen Hurts to show some emotion. Maybe it's time for Jalen Hurts to call somebody out. Maybe it's time for Jalen Hurts not to be so stoic and quiet. Show something. Somebody's got to step up and have some emotion. Eagles will beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. I'd be more worried about the Niners. Look, I don't know. Maybe the Eagles just purposely played crappy games the last 2 weeks just so that, that the 49ers and Cowboys wouldn't know what's coming their way come the playoff time. Maybe the Eagles purposely ran a preseason style offense and defense just to save the good stuff for the playoffs. Maybe that's the way it was. Eagles fans need to chill with the scumbag behavior. Absolutely. The scumbag behavior towards families of players, man, it's ridiculous. And it's all from burner accounts or bot accounts. Nobody would say it to anybody and show their face. And it's not just Eagles fans. Sports fans do it in all cities. So I don't want it to be just Eagles fans because we already get enough crap. But yeah, I mean, bad behavior is just uncalled for. I'm saying that AJ and Smitty is all Hurts look at. That's true. I mean, the box score proves that last night, Jonathan. It clearly proves it. He had 27 passes, 4 to Dallas Goedert, the other 23 went to Smitty and Brown. Pretty easy for a defense to scheme when all you got to do is stop 2 players, basically. When 90% of the plays just go 2 ways. Pretty easy. Yeah. He needs some morning off. Patricia needs to take over for this side. And if Darius Slay doesn't like it, he can go with the side. Man. I mean, you got a guy in Matt Patricia as, I don't know, what is he, the secondary or linebacker coach? I don't know. Whatever position he's in charge of isn't doing well. That's fine. But maybe Matt Patricia at least needs to step in and help Sean Desai a little bit more. Maybe. Because Sean Desai needs help. I criticized the Sean Desai hiring from day one. And it's not his fault. That's what Eagles Nation tells me. Fraudulent activity. The whole Eagles team was fraudulent the last 2 weeks. I don't think there's an argument to be made there. We have 4 games we can win, so we need to get our act together and build some momentum and see what happens. Well, that's what's next for the Eagles. They got to get back in a winning way somehow, John. They need to use it. But there's no reason why, if I was a sports bettor, I don't know what the lines are for Sunday next Monday night against the Seahawks, but we probably shouldn't be favored against them on the road. This team's played atrocious. I'm tired of picking D-line every year early and not getting pressure when we need it. Patrick Fair. Look, we got all excited and bought into this building the trenches, offensive lineman and defensive lineman. But if your defensive line isn't getting sacks and more pressure, it leaves the rest of your defense exposed. And they used the 3rd-round pick on the Kobe Dean, and he did not pan out. They've used an early pick or a 2nd-round pick on Jason Kelsey's replacement multiple years in a row, and Kelsey's still here. Our secondary and our linebackers have suffered. And I say secondary, combining the defensive backs and the safeties. I mean, Reed Blankenship, he's our best safety. He's probably our best secondary person, period. And he's good. He's not an amazing player. Why he's leading the league in Pro Bowl votes, I have no idea. But as soon as he went down last night, I just knew there's no chance to stop. He was the only guy that could stop anybody. And he's not even the greatest. The lack of any depth, or we have depth and they haven't developed. Ringo and Ricks are no better than they were week 1. Josh Doby out there making special team blunders. Nicholas Morrow not doing well. Zach Cunningham missing tackles. Shaq Leonard barely played till the second half. There's a lot of problems. Good morning, Eric. How you doing? How about we call it the disappointed and depressed Core 12 today? How about that, Eric? Last season, Hurts was the complete opposite. I have a slight feeling he may have peaked last year. Well, I don't think he peaked last year. Did he play out of his mind great last year? Obviously. There were a lot of players that exceeded their cap last year. But there's a reason why Jalen Hurts is still one of the favorites to win the MVP this year, Matt. There's bound to be some form of regression. Now, some games there's been more. But if A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith don't have 2 fumbles and multiple drop passes, you're not even thinking about it. You're talking about how great of a pass that was. Actually, no, that A.J. Brown drop, everybody would probably be saying how great of a catch it was, not how great of a throw it was. That ball had a 1-inch window to get fit in, and he fit it right in there. But it's going to go down as an incomplete pass, a stalled drive, et cetera, et cetera. Someone got to get fired. Do you really want to make a firing week 14 when you're 10-3 and you got 4 super winnable games? EC1? I don't know if that's necessarily the right move. The side needs to go, look, Lewis, and I appreciate you checking in. Finally, people are seeing what I see in Sean Desai. I'm just glad other people are seeing it finally. I've been talking about it on this show for weeks on end, since the beginning of the year, since he was hired. But you're not going to make that kind of a drastic move when you're 10-3 and it's week 14. Pissed off. Nothing worse than having to go to work after getting embarrassed on a must-win game. Or nothing's worse than having that last night's game, waking up at 6:30 in the morning to do this show, and then having to go to work a 10, 11-hour day. It's pathetic. It really, really is pathetic. One thing for sure, we'll avoid Skip today. Well, I avoid Skip all the time. I do. And the only time I ever see him is when somebody sends me a screenshot because I got him cut off. But people send me screenshots all the time of his crap. It hurts. Oh, it hurts. It hurts waking up. That's what it does. Emotions in a football game only last a quarter or so, so it's all about attitude and execution to the last 4 quarters. Look, I always talk about execution. You know that, mister. And we executed so poorly last night. So poorly. For real. Slay was cool and fine retweeting a tweet, but smiled while giving up plays. Did Darius Slay really give up that many plays last night? Kind of feel like Darius Slay had a pretty solid game last night. That James Bradbury and the slot. Why we can't move somebody like Slay or Bradbury to cover Ceedee Lamb? Now Ceedee Lamb got held in check for the most part last night, respectively speaking. But man, he lines up in the slot and you got to put somebody else on him. But no, we never make that adjustment. Slay and Bradbury need to be moved. Well, look, you signed them both to extensions last offseason. Let me be honest, EC. Both are most likely here next year. It would take a drastic move from Howie and some big losses from Howie to move on from one or both those guys. And honestly, Ringo, Ricks, McPherson, Maddox, none of those guys can be counted on to fill that spot. Howie's going to have to work some magic to clean up the secondary. If Hurts continues with turnovers and putting up little points, it's safe to say we stop. I don't know if this is a troll comment or for real. I appreciate you tuning in. Hey, hit the like button. But you're not benching Jalen Hurts. Is this David Carr's burner account? We're not benching. He didn't cause A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith's turnover. He didn't cause the drops. Jalen Hurts is not free from criticism for last night or for the last couple weeks. But you're not benching Jalen Hurts. I didn't know Gilmore was still like that. I thought he was old. Yeah, I didn't even know he was in the league still. And he still thinks he's good enough to chirp with A.J. Brown. And you know what? He won that battle. He got in A.J. Brown's head last night. He did. Real quick. We only got, 13 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Hit that like button. 35 people watching right now and only 19 likes across all platforms. So hit that like button, guys. Let's get more people into this conversation so that everybody has the chance to vent a little bit this morning. You know how last week I started speaking about blowing it up? Is it time to start discussing that? Stop. I'm sick of us. The problem is simple. We won 10 games in 14 weeks trying to play against our identity. We are effing run-first RPO team. This is how we want to be remembered. Yeah. Do we even have an identity, honestly? Because I don't think we do. Let's bench Hurts. Yeah. Sorry. I don't like to call out people's comments, but that's a bad comment. Stupid. Yeah. What's up, Mitchie Poo? Good morning. I wish it was a good morning. It's just a very average, mediocre morning. We are way behind on comments. Well, I was trying to give Nick a pass. Style of offense is elementary. Very much so. Very, very much so. If we go one and done this year, is Nick's job safe? Yes. I already saw people this morning saying that Nick Sirianni has to be on the hot seat. There's no way Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat, guys. Maybe next year, if he has another non-Super Bowl type season, sure. But there's no way that Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat yet this year or even the start of next year. I'm going to work sick to my stomach. I'm just going to work tired, exhausted, lack of sleep, frustrated, pissed off. Yeah, man, it's not going to be pretty. I'm going to be drinking so much coffee, my stomach really, literally will be sick by the end of the day. But that's all, whatever. This cup of coffee sucks, honestly. I think I really butchered the coffee making this morning. Am I the only one who got sick and tired of running on 2nd and 10? But that's their system. Because third down is really second down. First down is really first and 8. It's like they run their offense, the Eagles, thinking about the tush push always. They run their entire offensive scheme to get to the tush push. Is that insane to say or think of? I don't know. I got to write that down. Offense built around tush push. I kind of feel like it is. I got to fire through comments, but I want to come back to that point in a minute. Well, from the other reports, supposedly this is the first year Sirianni isn't calling plays this year. He didn't call plays most of last year either. If so, it's showing. So why wouldn't we go back to him playing calls? Steichen called the plays. The loss of Steichen is a lot bigger than we think. If we don't beat Seattle, no Super Bowl at this point. Well, we better. Now Seattle's a must-win game, Armand, for sure. How mighty have fallen, 1 to 5th seed. Look, that's just a semantics right now. We still control the destiny to get the number 2 seed. One loss from San Francisco and win out from us, and we're still the 1 seed. So I'm not worried about seeding in week 14 right now because of the way, if you look into the future, it's still our destiny right there. No, you're not. Pound that like button. Yeah, absolutely. Pound, yeah, pound it all. Slay has 1 more year on his deal. Bradbury has 2, I believe. Nick seems to be control freak. He might be too much of a control freak. 49ers here. What the hell happened, you guys? Yeah, well, we got smoked, Gavin. Got smoked. Emotional support halftime gummy. Dude, you saw it. I need it. I took a very, very large one at halftime last night. David Carr was right about Jalen. Yeah, right. Stop. Stop. The run opens up the passing game and makes our offense flow explosively. I don't know why. Yeah, look. Frustrating. Frustrating. You earn the right to talk as the leader. Well, no one's leading right now. K1, I'm disappointed too. We all are. We need a complete overhaul in our secondary draft trades, whatever. It's on Howie. Absolutely. And I got crushed for saying he's got work to do. Nick got to let go of the stupid game plan. Johnson decided are literally Nick scapegoats. It's really Nick, the same Nick game plan. Yeah, maybe. Eagles' third loss, incoming against Seattle. And Seattle rested the stars against San Francisco. I suppose Drew Lock played. That was an injury to Geno. He had a hamstring issue. Eric, we haven't been a run team since AJ complained. That's actually a very fair point, Marshawn. You're kind of spot on with that one. He complained, and then we haven't really done it since. Nick Sirianni hired these coordinators to see what happens when Howie gives the coach a little power. I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. I'm not used to our group not taking care of each other when it comes to pressure. Josh Sweat voices Eagles' defensive frustrations after another woeful effort from Sean Desai. Not used to our group not taking care of each other. Interesting. I don't think Nick is the control freak. He's following orders from the front office. Absolutely think that there's a possibility there. Nick loves, look, everybody loves the pass. Very few teams run the ball more than pass the ball, just so you know. Correct. Nick is following orders. Yes, Phil, we have identity. We run first like last year. It opens up the passing game and keeps the defense fresh. Look, we needed to keep the defense fresh. I'm not mad at them going for these short run conversions. The only problem is starting the drive with an incomplete pass or a strange bubble screen. Parsons didn't like a lot of, yeah. Eagles' identity right now, we identify as it. Just as it. Super Bowl. We ain't winning a damn Super Bowl. Yeah, what's his name? The coach. Playoffs? Talking playoffs? No. We're just we're Super Bowl? We're talking Super Bowl? I just want to get to the playoffs. That's what we got to talk about. AJ is a diva. What wide receiver? Hold on, back to this again. What wide receiver isn't a diva? Let's be honest. To be an elite wide receiver in the NFL, you got to have a little diva mentality. The Eagles identify as frauds, losers. We're going to find out this week if they are a fraud or not. It's time for them to buckle down, buckle their chin strap. Since AJ complained, I'm writing that down. That's another one that I like. That you guys are on fire with some of the comments today. And Phil, you're my favorite. Hey, I appreciate that. Just make sure everybody's hitting that like button. Make sure we're hitting that share button. Let's get it going. We've been staying pretty strong over that 30 live viewers. Let's keep it coming. Keep the frustration. But I want to get back to this point from a few minutes ago. That the offense is built around the tush push. We can criticize the defense, but we can criticize the offense too. It's like they constantly call plays because they just want to set the tush push up. They want to run the tush push. It's like that if they don't get the opportunity to run the tush push too soon, they got to make sure they set themselves up into a situation that they have to run it. Like it's mind-boggling. We are still tied for the best record in football. Let that sink in. The world is falling. The sky is falling. The world is ending. The biggest collapse of all time. But we did literally just go through the Dolphins, the Cowboys twice, the 49ers, Chiefs, and Bills. 6 playoff teams, and we went 4-2. Let that sink in. We are 4-2 against 5 of the best teams in football. Now, maybe the Chiefs aren't as good as we thought they were after last night's loss. That's another whole subject for another day. But we went 4-2 in the juggernaut stretch, guys. People were saying we'd be lucky to go 3-3 in that stretch before the season started. The Cowboys came off 10 days rest. The 49ers came off a 10 days rest. The Chiefs came off the bye. Maybe the world's not ending. Now, I just don't know how the defense is gassed. I don't know how you fix that when there's no buys coming up anytime soon. Phil, we are frauds. How much more evidence do we need? Oh, man, Marshawn. I wish I had an argument against you. I don't. I know we played like crap 2 weeks in a row. I know there's unfixable holes and issues on this team that cannot be fixed at this point of the season. But the world's not ending. The season's not over. The sky's not completely falling. It's starting to fall, but it's not completely. It's like the crack in the multiverse is just starting to happen. They still got time to fix it. I just don't know how they fix it. Yeah, I agree. And this is more for tomorrow's show, K1. Today's the overreaction. Last night was embarrassing. Today's the overreacting. Tomorrow is back to reality. We can panic today. We can't panic after today, though. K1, send help. We all need help. Remain calm. Remain calm. No panic. No running. Single file line out the door. Why does everybody like single? If there's an emergency, you want us to line up in a single file? No, just run to the door. We were supposed to go 5-1. AJ said we'll see you Sunday. Yeah, AJ Brown. Does it ever work out for any athlete like that? Call somebody out or say something like that, and it's like he said, it never works out. I don't know why athletes don't learn. Here we go with AJ a diva because he shows frustration. I'm not complaining that he's a diva. I mean, like I said, every Tyreek Hill's a diva. Justin Jefferson's a diva. Devontae Adams is a diva. Every elite wide receiver. Every average wide receiver has diva in them. But you can't take away the fact that he dropped the perfect pass that would have changed the outcome of the game potentially. Had a big fumble that changed momentum of the game. A.J. Brown has to be better. Without a doubt. Had a meeting. Is K1 still seething? Yeah. Think about it. Think about it was Nick the cause. How he would have been lit under him. The fact that he has been approached or threatened means that they are okay with the square peg approach. Maybe. I don't need no intervention. I need some sleep. That's all. Who are Eagles' last 4? Seattle, New York Giants, Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants. That's it. Eagles defense drives since forcing 2 punts to start the Niners game. Touchdown. Yeah. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Dude, obviously, it wasn't good. There was a long stretch where they just gave up a touchdown in a row. Obviously, we know that. Got to be better. What is your opinion of bringing Zach? I'm assuming you mean Zach Ertz. What's Zach Ertz going to do? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith got all but 4 targets on offense last night. Passing one. He's not going to change that. Zach Ertz isn't going to fix the linebacker or safety position. Zach Ertz, sure. Bring him back, whatever. But it's not going to change anything. It's not going to fix the problems of this team. Excuse me Zach Ertz, like, he's a great guy. He's a history with the Eagles. He might help the locker room a touch, but he's not going to. Having Zach Ertz last night does not change the outcome of the game. Oh, man. It is going to be a long, long day. Let's be real. These old heads on our team is holding us back. They're making us too slow. We got to get younger. And the youth of the team made mistakes last night too. Like, there's youth, there's vets, there's youth on this team. Everybody's to blame. Mahomes flips out like a baby. He is human. I'd rather Mahomes flipping out last night the way he did, whether right or wrong, over Jalen Hurts just sitting there like this. Because that's all he's doing. He's always just looking up at the sky with this stoic look on his face. That's Jalen Hurts. I'd rather see Patrick Mahomes, even if he's unjustly criticizing the refs or not. I'd rather Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes over Jalen Hurts emotional wise. What's up, Sean? Bottom line, in retrospect, this whole season was a waste. Stop. They have no chance of winning the title. Nothing else matters other than hoisting the. Obviously, the end part's right. Only thing that matters is hoisting the Lombardi Trophy for sure. But tomorrow, I'm going to talk you off the ledge that it's okay. Relax. Today, you're more than welcome to overreact today. But tomorrow, come with some, realization that we're still in control of our own destiny. When your team is exhausted from a tough schedule, your franchise quarterback needs to carry the team. That's why Hurts got paid $250 million. And Jalen Hurts got paid $250 million. But two athletes got paid a combined $1.3 billion this weekend. Ohtani, $700 million from the Dodgers. The John Rahm, $600 million from Live Golf. My God, a lot of money got spent on two athletes this weekend. If anything, Jalen Hurts is underpaid then at that rate. Man, can you guys imagine how much money was spent on two professional athletes this weekend? Insanity. The Eagles defense gave up a total of 11 touchdown drives of 75 yards in the first 11 games. They have given up 8 against the last 2 games in the last 5 quarters. Yeah, that's that to me. Like, it's bad. I'm reading it and it's bad, but then in the back of my head, EC1, I'm thinking it's bad, but it just proves the fact of how gassed the Eagles defense is. And there's no reinforcements coming. If anything, they're getting thinner depending on what happens. Reed Blankenship, whether you like him or not, it's a huge loss if this concussion's bad. Half these veterans can go, honestly. I mean, hell, one of the veterans, Fletcher Cox, is probably the defensive player on the team, best player on the team. He's one of the few that are actually putting in effort every single play. And the guy's gassed. So some of the veterans are actually carrying the team. Got to be historic, dog poo defensively. Can't remember a stretch like that. I mean, that's bad. But yeah, it's so hard to criticize Sean Desai. Because now today, you guys are kind of getting on my side with Sean Desai. But man, it's hard. You go on social media, it's tough. Really tough. AJ is the best receiver we've had since T.O., but last night was one of the reasons we lost. Absolutely, Marshawn. You want to be considered the best, you got to play like the best. You can't take plays off. You can't take games off mentally. You got to have that edge every single day. Randy Moss never took a play off or a game off. Jerry Rice never took a play off. Fully focused every game. That's what the elite of the elite do. Right? Mahomes went crazy. That went cry crazy. Look, I'd rather that than Jalen Hurts' stoic little staring off into space. Wonder what's going through his head on a daily basis when he's like that. I wonder. If we lose to Seattle, do you think it's time to build the war room and start the defense rebuild and game plan rebuild? I know you don't worry about the offseason until it comes, but it seems like, well, if we lose to Seattle, the season's still not over, obviously. We'll still make the playoffs, obviously. But if we lose to Seattle, then we can kind of realize that it depends on how. There's so much. I don't even want to have that conversation. No, I'm not ready. Today's, man, I'm trying so hard not to overreact, Matt, like that. But you might be on to something. Too much talent to be frauds. 10-3, just relax. We have 4 winnable games, and let's see what happens. John, of course. You're right. This is the feeling for tomorrow, though. Today is not the day to relax. Giants stink. Yeah, they do. EC1, that is wild. Seahawks stink. Judlin reminds me of Chip's defense. What's up, Eric Charles? We don't deserve the number 1 spot. After the way we played the last 2 weeks, Eric, you're not wrong. Not at all. Who is other? Sorry, I hope that made sense. I was parking when I typed that. Parking and typing at the same time. Thank God for the Flyers. We got a Flyers caller in here. That's what they'd say on the radio. We got a Flyers caller on the air right now. I love it. The Flyers are a good team. They are. I can talk Flyers. There was something going around about maybe trading Travis Konecny, even though we're playing well. And I definitely would have before the season. Now I don't know. Maybe not. Dallin doesn't pass to anyone but those 3, obviously. Like Julio Jones, what's even the point of bringing him in? That's why the whole Zach Ertz thing is a moot point to me, because like you're not giving the ball to anybody else anyway. So he would be just as useless as Julio Jones is right now. Where was Shaq? Did he dress? He played last night. That snap count, not much. He didn't play at all in the first few drives. He played. Where is he? Gotta go far down. He played 14 of the 82 snaps on defense. Hell, Nolan Smith and Marlon Tupelodu played more snaps than Shaq Leonard last night. Shocking there. Ain't gonna lie. Thought he was all pro enough to just kind of get in there. Even we bring the Lord Savior for 3 days, he's not saving this team. Man, youth looks promising. Some of it does. Don't forget who scored our touchdown. That's right, Jalen Carter. But Jalen Carter scored that touchdown thanks to Fletcher Cox not giving up on a play and forcing a sack fumble, strip sack fumble, whatever it may be. 49ers add young talent at the deadline. Eagles accumulate players that are washed. Yeah. Trying to fix a wound with damaged goods. I don't know who the 49ers added. I don't know what they traded for Chase Young. I do remember that, obviously. But I don't know who else they added. But we go out and get Shaq Leonard, Braden Robbie, and Kevin Byard. Older guys past their prime. Not good. Not good enough. Mahomes is passionate. Hurts claims to be passionate. And I used to love the stoic attitude. But now I'm beginning to question it. Oh. 4 tissues today. Not even shorts enough. I'm sending 2 firsts to the Broncos for Patrick Surtain. Maybe we should have made the Patrick Surtain offer. Maybe our secondary would look better right now. Oh, yeah, we need to run our offense similar to the Dolphins. We have the personnel. Yeah, Covey did fantastic. Special teams did great. That fake punt was gorgeous. Special teams was a positive. Who would have thought it? Special teams was a positive. Mahomes was a whiny. Yeah, well, but at least he showed passion. Where's that passion on the Eagles? I need some passion. Kelsey, I feel for the most. He came back for this, for sure. The amount of stupid yesterday evening was exceptional. This is actually a great comment. It sums it up pretty well. There was a lot of stupid last night, for sure. What's up, talking sports with Matt? What's up, Matty B? You're just another green sunglasses wearing lackey. I am. How am I a lackey? I'm calling as I see it. How do you feel in control when you watch this offense and defense every week? Special teams is the best part of this team. Man, that's a pathetic but honest statement. That's why I'm not on social media. It's tough. It is. I'm on social media way too much, honestly. I'm not watching the last few games because if we couldn't win the games that matter, we shouldn't take pride. Well, as a real fan, you always watch every game. And you might say you're not watching it, but you'll watch it. You know you will. NFL set us up to fail with all these primetime games. Yeah, look, I don't like excuses, but I think it's a fair excuse. The schedule makers did us no favors whatsoever. Jalen Carter is the man. Surprisingly, looking at the snap sheet last night, Jalen Carter only played 43% of the snaps to Jordan Davis is 52 to Fletcher Cox is 59. Surprised that Jalen Carter played as little as he did last night. I really am. 49ers have the 1 seat and control their own destiny. But you guys got a slightly tougher schedule the rest of the way than we do. You still got Baltimore. We don't got anybody like Baltimore on our agenda. Baltimore's still a really good team. Yeah. Too much talent to play the way they did, gassed or not. Yeah, every team's got gassed players on it. You got to show up. You got to put out. You got to do a little bit more. You got to dig deep, Matt. It's hard to dig deep, though, if you don't agree with the scheme you're running either. So how much of it is that they're gassed and how much of it is they're gassed and don't want to put out a little bit more because they don't believe in the schemes that they're running? Is that a thing? Is it a thing that the players don't buy? If they don't buy into the scheme, they're not going to give 100%? You'd hope it's not, but it could be. It's impossible to control your own destiny. Oh, man. Getting deep with that comment from K1 there. By the time Phil reads this, he'll have missed the hard reset. Yeah, I'm not. The hard reset thing, I'm getting tired of the hard reset. We might just skip it. No, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're up to 21 likes on YouTube, 6 on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe, follow, do whatever you can. Help to continue to grow. We had a great week on shows last week. You guys did a great job, and let's continue it this week. It's funny. The show grew even more during the negativity versus the positive. It's like negativity brought more Eagles fans out to the table. Imagine but anyway, back to the comments. Make sure you hit those like buttons. I greatly appreciate it. Imagine if we do win out and we're 14-3 and possibly the 1 seed. But how confident are you about this team in the playoffs? Right now, there is not one Eagles fan. We could say tomorrow, relax, or we'll get there. But right now, Monday morning, after 2 straight demolishing performance, getting demolished twice by 2 teams we'll face in the playoffs, nobody can be confident. Hell, even I have to bump them out the number 1 seed in the power ranking. Finally being given a reason to get them out of the 1 seed. It's maybe just to the 2 seed, though. Just kidding. Nobody can be confident right now. When the refs were not calling holds against Dallas, I knew how this game was going to. They did call the hold, though, on Jordan Davis. They called it. Then after the touchdown, I'm like, guys, let's call that. Let's call that back. No. We're not going to. We'll pick that flag up. I think I saw 3 flags picked up in the first half alone last night. Again, the refs did not cost us the game. There's no doubt about that. But they did put their influence on the game. They did help set the tone for the game. But we did not lose the game. I need to make this absolutely clear. Crystal clear. We did not lose this game because of the referees. Did they play a factor? Sure. Did they set the tone? Sure. But we didn't lose it because of it. We lost it because we sucked. We played like crap. Eagles are still in position to reclaim the division, but that Arizona game bothers me now. Yeah, maybe. Right. What was the point of bringing Julio? He's just watching. Well, we brought in old guys with nothing left in the tank. There's a reason Julio wasn't on a team. There's a reason why Shaq, Leonard, and Kevin Byard were so readily available for so cheap. Braden Robbie. These guys are available for a reason. Julio and Penny are head scratcher. They're wasted roster spots if you're not going to use them. Now, Penny, I said my opinions on Penny. But what are they going to do with Shaq? They don't run the ball anyway. So activating Penny doesn't solve anything. Oh. Man. I need a big-time defensive end this offseason. Hunter or Burns, perhaps, see if Myles Garrett is available. Myles Garrett's always available. He's a 1-year at every contract he signs, I think. Defensive end is not where I'm looking first, though, this offseason. When we get there, we got to talk about the cornerbacks and the safeties and the linebackers. Can we fire Brian Johnson and hire Frank Reich? It can't get any worse. Look, first and foremost, I get it. It's what everybody wants to say. But we're not firing a coordinator after 14 weeks in the NFL season. Maybe bring in Frank Reich as a consultant at this point. I was against it, but maybe we got to. We're not firing anybody at this point. We are still 10-3. Hello, reset. I got to it. I'm just a little behind on the comments, guys. There's a lot of them. Can we fire? Oh, we were saying it again. Gotcha. Hard reset. Yes. Eric Charles, like how you have a guy like Julio and don't use him. But who is Julio though, Eric? I'm not going to say we don't. I'm surprised we don't use him, but Julio's a future Hall of Famer, but he ain't a Hall of Famer right now. He ain't doing anything to do anything. Eagles still dead last in the NFL using motion. Absolutely. $5 super chat. Sorry, have bets to pay. It got to come out of somewhere. Got it. Reset, reset, reset. Eagles need a hard reset for sure. I was just thinking of that, and then I saw the comment. They do need a hard reset, big time. We just been getting out coached. Period. Out coached, out hustled, out executed, out everything. We've just flat out stunk for 2 weeks in a row. We all need a hard reset. Yeah, I need something today. I don't know how I'm getting through this day. Cowboys are going to choke in the playoffs. Why get your hopes up? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. They've been known to do that, for sure. You'll face the Cowboys in 6 weeks in playoffs after bye. How are we going to win? I don't know. I don't know if we do win. How about a traffic report? Well, there is a little snow on the ground, so drive carefully. The roads might be a little icy. It was windy and rainy as heck yesterday, for sure. We're going to fire through some comments here, get caught up here soon here. Fair point. Yeah, I'm sending Phil a case of clean. Dude, I don't know, man. My sinuses have been bad lately, but this morning they're extra bad. I can't breathe. Well, then, if you don't agree, then why not say something? I mean, it feels like the players go into practice and tape review and just sit there and say nothing. Too much money spent on this team, and I think this is going back to when I said that the players don't buy into what's being called. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Byard wasn't cheap. He was a third rounder we gave up for him. Well, still, it was an old guy. That's not an all pro anymore. So if anything, he overpaid for him then, for sure. Howie is never investing in linebacker and safety. The 1 year he lucked out in his investments in those positions, yeah, he let him walk. We talked about that all week. One of the greatest wide receivers, and he is not doing anything because we not giving him anything to do. But he's not one of the greatest wide receivers right now. He's one of the greatest receivers of all time, but not anymore. So you gotta pump the brakes on question the Julio thing. Julio's just not. He's not special anymore. We have 3 big bodies for 50-50 balls in the red zone and still fail. Yeah. Hey, Devontae Smith isn't a big body, but he can still go up and get a ball in the red zone too, though. I will say that. Brian Johnson and Sean Desai will be back next year. We'll be back discussing the same BS. Possibly. Nobody's going to hire them to be head coach after the way they both coached the last 2 weeks. That ain't no doubt. Who plays tonight? Who gives a crap at this point? I'm so pissed off right now. Who cares who plays tonight? But it's the Green Bay Packers against the New York Giants tonight. Just so you know. We just not as good this year. We lost a lot last season, and really doesn't anybody go back-to-back Super Bowls. I don't think the Chiefs will return either. The Chiefs have been playing terrible lately. Yeah. Lamade was nowhere to be found. He had a big catch on that on the fake punt. Big catch there. Got to give him some credit there. Got to give him something. It's okay. Man, Lamade caught a pass from the punter, bro. Yeah, I mean, Brendan Matt had a better quarterback rating than Jalen Hurts last night. Should we start? Maybe David Carr thinks we should start Brendan Matt at quarterback right now. That fake punt was gutsy. Was in a tough position, and man threw a perfect spiral on that. I won't lie. Where was Aqua Bowman? Aqua Bowman was inactive last night. Who in the AFC is beating the Niners and Cowboys? Look, it looks like honestly, it's Niners and Cowboys 1-2 in the NFL right now. It is. Ravens 3. I guess the Eagles are 4 or 5 at this point. Somebody just laughed at this video. Put a laugh emoji. It was you. It was you, Alavon X. It was you hitting the laugh emoji. I love it. It's okay. Everybody's opinions. And you know what? We should be laughing at this Eagles team after the way they have performed the last 2 weeks. Obviously. No reason not to laugh at them. Because it's been pathetic. The Eagles should be at 11 in the power rankings. Well, I don't do an 11th. I do a 10, and then I just do honorable mentions. I thought about dropping the Eagles to honorable mentions just to start something. Gotta laugh to keep from crying. Hey, I get it. I get it. I feel you, man. I feel you. I want to keep saying Allison because it's just the ALL and my sister's name's Allison. So it's just what I kind of feel like. This is not a good week, guys. So this is not a good way to start the week off. This is my birthday week. My birthday is Thursday. And I got to start talking about an Eagles loss like this? What the hell? What a disappointing way to start this week. Liam. I wouldn't be shocked if Liam didn't even do his show tonight. Dude was up till like 4 a.m. watching the game, right in the Philly Sports Network post-game recap. That man's got to be exhausted by this point. I feel bad for all the people in other countries that got to stay up late to watch these games. I hate staying up till 11:30 watching the game. I feel like I wasted my time. DSM boys are doing it. They're my boys too. I love them. They do great work there at DSM. It's not yet. Later in the week. A couple days still to go. Still something positive can happen before then. You disrespect Phil on his birthday week. There will be consequences. Yeah. Fireball. Bench Jalen Hurts. Now I'm going to have to use my birthday week to kind of be extra positive for you guys. Where am I going here? At this point, I'd rather list to Skip Bayless today than Jalen and his nonchalant attitude and script responses. Look, we never want to listen to Skippy, just so you know. Skippy Payless is what he is. Jaguars collapsing. Everybody's collapsing, except for the 49ers and the Cowboys. They're playing their best ball right now. Everybody else is collapsing. Do I think we can win the rest of the season? Of course we can. But not if we play like we did yesterday against the Seahawks. Hell, if we play like we played yesterday against the Cardinals, we're losing games. There's no doubt about it. Got to be better. Eagles disrespected Deshaun and Phil. Absolutely, yeah. They disrespected Deshaun Jackson on his retirement week, and now my birthday week. What the hell? Eagles, got to do better. Eagles, Cowboys, Niners, all 3 losses. Yes, we know that. Skip talks about Cowboys. Yeah, that I hate that Cowboys funeral commercial thingy. I can't stand it, honestly. It's not just because I don't like Skip. I think it's a poor taste. Him talking about the Cowboys while he's giving a eulogy and stuff like that. It's in poor taste, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of it. Not at all. Nick and his brain trust simply must change their approach on how they do things. I think that's a very fair thing to say. We suck, plain and simple. Do we suck, though? Come on. I know I said you guys can overreact today. But do we suck? We sucked the last 2 weeks. But as a whole, do we? I don't think so. There's still room for improvement, but this is still a good team. This is still a team that not too long ago was 10-1. Yeah, we're 10-3, but we were 10-1. Uh-oh. I see Cowboys fans. I see Cowboy fans in the comments. Let's see. Eagles defense played good second half. We actually did play better in the second half. It was a game filled of mistakes and lack of execution. No excuses from the Eagles fans this week. You guys beat us. And our defense is the only team. Our defense scored the only touchdown in the game for us. We're frauds. Yes, we do. We suck. I know. Gets it. Overreaction Monday. Yeah, it is overreaction Monday. It is what it is. You can slap Giants around a bit. Yeah, we can. I also didn't want our team playing at the Giants in New York. I wanted to have the division locked up so we didn't have to play. Just see more. There were like 8 more injuries on that Meadowlands turf yesterday. Jets beating the Texans. Stroud took a really bad concussion yesterday, bouncing his head off that turf. Something's got to be done about the MetLife turf. I didn't want our defense or our offense playing in there. I don't need Jalen Hurts hurting himself on that turf. Offense scored 0 points in the second half. The only points we scored were field goals from our offense. We some frauds found. Yeah, look. We finished the overreaction. We got 15 minutes left of Overreaction Monday. Cowboys scored 0 touchdowns in the second half, and we still got beat by 20. And you all say we don't suck. Man, it just hurts to read it. It hurts to see it. It does, man. When you see it like that, Marshawn, it hurts. Two Monday Night Football games. Look, I'm tired of these night games. Next Monday, I won't be tired, but next Tuesday I'll be exhausted. But to be fair, that was tough ass schedule. Absolutely. And we went 4-2 in the if you were told Alivon or Alivon, if you were told before the season we'd be 4-2 in this stretch, no matter how it played out, you would have said, "Awesome, I'll accept that right now." But right now, we're in the heat of it, and we don't feel that way. But if you look at it as a whole, coming out of this stretch of our schedule at 10-3, 4-2 in the last 6 tough games, it's a win. It's just hard to look like that or look at it like that when you played as bad as they have the last 2 weeks. Because it's not like we lost close games. We got our asses whooped the last 2 weeks. Straight up. Whooped. We some frauds. We are. We are. Eagles' worst team to ever play. Honestly, if we played like we did last night, the Panthers would beat us. Bargaining. Look, we got about 12 minutes left on the show. 21 likes on YouTube, 7 on Facebook. Well, 6 on Facebook and 1 laughy emoji on Facebook. But still, it counts as a like. Make sure you're hitting that like button as we continue to get to the final 10, 15 minutes of this show today. Can you guys root Bills one time? No. No. We don't spam plays that are working either. It's like we are going through the play scripts like it's a check off. Yeah. No creativity with the offense. But you know what? Look, Eric, again, and the offense is not good. Not making excuses for the offense. But we'd have a totally different perspective on the offense if those 2 wide receivers did not drop passes and have fumbles. Now Jalen Hurts' fumble is bad too. Got it. But we shouldn't be running him as much as we do anyway. That's another subject. 3 fumbles and at least 3 drops from the wide receivers and Jalen Hurts' fumble, obviously. And those drops were like big time drops. We're going to talk about the A.J. Brown one all week. But Devontae Smith dropping that pass in the end zone. That was a perfect ball from Hurts again there. Got to be better. So, as bad as the offensive play calling and scheme is, it's working. It's just not being executed. K1, accept it. We frauds. I'm really disappointed in this team. The spot is spot on. We're all disappointed. And thank you for checking in. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We're here every single morning doing this, 5 days a week, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Okay, so you rooting Cowboys? No. Bills versus Cowboys? I'll root for the Bills, of course. I'm not going to say I want the Bills to win, but yeah, whatever. We'll get there. I got you. I don't want to see more quarterback draws. The quarterback draws, they run that play far too often. But yet don't run DeAndre Swift. Like DeAndre Swift had 2-3 rushes on the first drive. Didn't see the ball again until middle of the third quarter. Boston Scott's getting carries. K1, the runs, the passes. So disappointing. Ugly. Teresa, I mean, that's pretty much all of Philadelphia Eagles Nation feeling this morning. We're all disappointed. It was ugly. There's nobody outside of Brandon Mann on his fake punt, Jake Elliott, and that's about it. Outside of those 2 people, nobody on this Eagles team played up to their expectations or their abilities. Not disappointed, just mad. Mad, disappointed, pissed off, frustrated. I'm frustrated that I stayed up till 11:30 last night watching this dreck. The team's best players were the reason we lost the game. Fumbles, drop passes, we fraud. Although we had big moment players. That's a fair point. Big moment players execute in the big moments. And we talked about that for weeks on this show, Marshawn. Executing in the big moments. They didn't do it last night. Last night, the whole game was a big moment. And our top players did not execute at all. Where are we here? All right, I was rooting for the Bills too. I could tell you this. I bet you everything Desai is gone next year. Both might be gone. Brian Johnson still is not out of consideration for a head coaching job. Sean Desai isn't going to get a head coaching job, but there might have to be an upgrade on that. We'll discuss that come the offseason. But Sean Desai's got 4 weeks to figure this defense out. Figure out some way to compensate for the middle of our defense being, like I said earlier, I just lost my pen. Damn it, I need my pen. It's the thing I play with all show long to keep my hands from being too fidgety. He needs to figure out what to do with the personnel he's got and make it work. But there ain't no reinforcements coming in week 15. Swift should leave this offseason. I want one of either Smitty or Brown to ask out this summer. Draft the court. Stop. 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 Even sarcasm, it's not funny. Did anyone watch the 3-0 Vikings win? If you watch that game, you literally enjoy torture. It's one thing if they came and played their best and lost, but they didn't play. Exactly. They just didn't show up at all. Did not show up. All right, we don't care about what you think, man. Chatter about Taylor Swift. Yeah, we got to execute it in the big moments. The drops, man. The fumbles. Like, at what point you could say the offensive scheme, we don't know if it works or not because of drops and fumbles and stuff like that. The offensive scheme might actually work if it was executed. There was not moments like that on the defense where it was the right scheme, just poorly executed. Here's his scheme, Sean Desai. This is the personnel. You got a square peg going into a round hole. We need Sean Desai to adjust what he does. He needs to go back and look at film from last year of what Jonathan Gannon did and try to mimic that a little bit. People always say, more blitzing, more blitzing, more blitzing. He dials up a blitz, creative or not. And Jake Ferguson come wide open over the middle for 33 yards because you blitzed and you don't got the personnel that can cover Jake Ferguson one-on-one over the middle. The offensive scheme is there. It's not executed. The defensive scheme does not match the personnel that we've got. That's my opinion. Sean Desai should be sent to the gulag by saying the defense needs to play fast, hit hard, and it needs to body Philadelphia. My hypothesis is correct. These last 6 weeks are so much more exciting. I said a swear at TV, and I got so mad. I turned the game off when we were 6-14, thinking that was the halftime score. I turned it back on. That's right. The end of the first half was bad. This team can't hide behind their record, keeping the main thing, because they some frauds. Y'all are very valid to feel this way this morning. I get it. I wasted 8 hours of my life watching the complete trash from the Eagles the past 2 weeks. I could have taught myself how to do software development. I could have learned a language or something like that. Could have done anything. Could have made some money. Instead, I'm suffering through this. And it's been pathetic. There's no doubt about it, mister. We don't have a miracle in the Meadowlands type player on this team, nor the coach. I did. For Zach, I bet a Britton Covey touchdown. It was like 36-1 yesterday. I was really hoping he had that one good punt return. I'm like, oh, he's going to break it. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen. I hate myself for trusting Philly sports teams in big moments. Yeah, Philly sports teams have really come up small in big moments a lot over the last couple months, years, lifetimes. They really have. You're not the first person to say that in the comments over the last couple days, Matt Chatter. In 8 hours, I will teach you how Godfather 1 is. You'll never convince me on that. You just can't. You can't convince me. Godfather 2 will always be my favorite Godfather movie. No doubt about it. Final 5 minutes here on the show. We're at 22 likes on YouTube, 7 on Facebook. Make sure you keep hitting that like and share button as we get wrapped. And look, we're frustrated. We're pissed off. We're annoyed. But this team's still got to find a way to get their groove back some kind, some way. Quote is more like, keep the same thing the same thing. I said after the Phillies loss, I'm curious to see how the Eagles will let us down. Somebody's got to do something to not let us down. There's no faith in the Sixers yet. They're good. They're better. They're different. But nobody's got faith in them. The Flyers are the Flyers. Look how they massacred my boy. I love that line, though. That is a great line. If Phil did a movie show, I would watch, just saying. And you'd probably want to ask me something totally non-movie related. You always bring random comments, which I love. But Godfather 1 is so much better than 2. Much better storyline. I just love the flashbacks to Robert De Niro's performance when he's like just getting started. His performance in those scenes are just epic, in my opinion. For sure. What's in the box? Well, not an Eagles W this week. We are not winning a ring this year, guys. this isn't something you can fix in a couple weeks. I don't disagree. That's also why you're not firing any coordinators because you're not going to change everything up with a couple weeks left. If this team wants to have any respect in the playoffs, or teams to respect them, the media respect them, they got to really dig deep now. And look, Seattle's had I think there are 3 games in a row they've lost. We're going to Seattle. It ain't a cakewalk in Seattle. Whether it's Drew Lock or, I mean, I know the Seattle lost by 12 to the 49ers last night, but it wasn't as close. It was closer than the score looked. They hung around in that game. Like Mike and Rounders, unbridled enthusiasm. He just check. They hung around there, Seattle last night. So it's not a cakewalk next week. But they got to dig deep, like extra deep, and show something. Show some character. Show some backbone. We didn't even talk about, and I'm going to write it down, and we'll touch on it tomorrow more, the hard hits on Jalen Hurts or other players. How come the refs didn't call that personal foul on the slide by Jalen Hurts? But where's the fight and the backbone of the team? How many times does our quarterback have to take cheap shots? And no one's going to stand up. I'm not for fighting. I'm not for dirty hits and dirty plays. But, at some point, when your quarterback keeps taking cheap shots, you got to stand up for him. You just can't let it keep sliding. But no one's got any backbone on this team right now, which is surprising because you got guys like Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata that you think would. Fletcher Cox on defense would. But no. I don't like violence, Phil. I'm a businessman. Blood is a big expense. It's a fair statement. It's a very, very smart statement in the movie right there. Luca Brasi talking to Vito scene is my favorite movie scene in Godfather 1. It's a great scene, too. Like, me saying Godfather 2 is better than Godfather 1. I mean, you're pulling teeth here. I mean, Godfather 1 is a great movie. Godfather 2. Both are top 10 movies of all time, period. It's just a matter of opinion. You think I'm going to make my baby sister a widow? Yeah. Yup. Apollina was a beautiful Italian woman, though. Was she not? Yeah. Yeah, Apollina. Um, the scene when Apollina, when they're talking to the dad about a girl he saw, and the dad like switches on a dime as soon as he realizes it's his girl. Man, love it. If we lose to Seattle, I'll lose all hope. Man, if we lose to Seattle, next Tuesday's show is going to be, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to say. I have no clue. I would rather talk Godfather than the Eagles. Yeah, maybe. May your first child be a masculine. Yeah. Phil, you butcher more names than a substitute high school teacher. It's kind of my thing. Who did I butcher this time? Abolina, Luca Brasi? I said them right. I don't think I butchered anybody from The Godfather's name. Corleone. I know them. I can say those. I can say the Italian names. I'm good at that. My Italian heritage is okay there. We got to wrap this up, guys. I got to get going here today. Abolina? I'm just pronouncing Apple. Did I say App? Maybe it's the congestion. My sinuses are a little off. Maybe you're hearing a B, but I know how to say Apollina. It just sounds like a B because I'm congested beyond belief this morning. The fact that you guys stuck around this long, listen to me honk my horn all morning long, and congested and stuffed up as I am, man, it's tough, man. I'm grinding for you guys this morning. Grinding. I know you love Godfather too, but saying Avelina is, dude, I'm not. I'm not you saying it with a B. I'm saying it with a P. You just can't hear the enunciation well enough because I'm making I'm not making excuses for the Eagles, but I'm making excuses today for my pronunciation, without a doubt. K1, add that to the list. Stop. You guys suck. I hate you all. Anyway, on that note, we're going to wrap up Trending in the AM right there. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to bring it back down to earth tomorrow. We're going to be a little bit more realistic tomorrow. All right? We are. I've already got like 3 different potential names for tomorrow's show. But that's tomorrow. Overreaction Monday. It's over. The Eagle season is over. The sky is falling. Abilena. No, it's Abilena. Anyway, with that is what I am saying. You just don't hear it. I am saying the P. I am. Anyway, on that note, Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, that follow button, that share button, every button you can see. 22 likes on YouTube, 7 on Facebook. Got to get that up. If you watch on replay, I will see it. I will comment on it. I will, except for the trolls that come out always on replays after key Cowboys week. Frodes, Woods. I don't even know what you're talking about there. Anyway, we got this. We're over. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Go Birds. I'll see you tomorrow.